of you know that it is thanks to the love and support of this community that we were able to build a village for special needs children out in Tanzania. That village now provides a safe and loving home to nearly 200 children that were living in crisis. Most of these children are special needs, but a lot of these children were homeless, and the majority have no parents or guardians in this world other than the family that this community has allowed us to create. Everything that we do is made possible thanks to partners, those who choose to partner with our family and with it make everything that we do possible and keep our doors open for the next children who need some help or a safe and loving family home. If you'd like to hear more about our partnership program, you can do so by visiting www.sharetanzania.com/partnership. Thank you for all of the love and support, guys. We couldn't do this without you. Today is the 11th of November. And for those of you who don't know, God started my journey with this number. This number, as with many of you I know out there, kept showing up inside my life. And as it was showing up inside my life, I didn't really understand what was going on and why it was happening, or what on earth it meant. Right now I'm walking around inside what is our children's village that we call Feather's Tail. We call it Feather's Tail like a fairy tale because also I kept receiving white feathers all the time. And by now our organization's name is the Create a Share Foundation, as I know that Christ is the orchestrator, the founder, the author of all of what has taken place here and everything that is taking place here. When you look back, it's also this young lady's birthday today on 11/11, as well as Feather's Tail. Oh, and she's a single mother here who has a special needs daughter, for the record. So everything you're seeing, all of this did not exist. All of this was bush and scrub. It was just nature. That's all it was. Habari kaka. Uko poa? Poleni. So, nzuri. Everything was just nature. It was just bush and scrub. We would have little antelope coming here, and we would have little animals, but we had to put a fence around it, of course, because we had to keep the children safe and so on and so forth. I followed 11/11 blindly, and in following 11/11 blindly, everything here rose up from that space. And you might ask, how on earth do you follow a number? Well, the person inside you who is asking, how do you follow the number, is the reason that you can't. You see, synchronicity is the language of creation, the language of Christ, the language of God. And the one who wants to understand it intellectually is an image of self based in thought, who can't understand it intellectually. It can't do it. It hasn't got the capacity. It hasn't got the ability. The reason it hasn't is that it's a linear process system, and the language of God is timeless and therefore eternal and not linear. So you must simply be in the present moment to receive guidance, to follow it. Now, mambo, uko poa? Asante, habari? Nzuri sana. Asante. And so, this village has become home. Hey, sweetie. Hey, Jonathan. Mambo. Has become home to a lot of special needs children. And that was the plan all along when that doorway opened of 1111. And since then, I've started calling it the Christ codes of change, as it were. Mambo. Habari leo. Kapoor. Umefurahi? Umefurahi? And as you can see, our family is a very huge, beautiful family. We have a lot of children here. Mambo. Umenipendeza sana leo. Kweli. And these children have all different types of disabilities, and many of them were found in terrible situations. This young lady is smiling. Very happy young lady here. Pendeza sana leo. Very beautiful today, for sure. Okay, bye-bye, yeah? Bye. Aya. Bye-bye, Quarini. So, this village has become a sanctuary for hundreds of children who were living in terrible situations. And it all came about by following 1111. People will get hooked on that, I know, and the mind loves to make an identity out of everything. And so they will make an identity out of 1111. I'm an 1111er. What it's trying to do, I call it the Christ code of change. It's trying to get a hold of your attention to show that you, as an extension of the creative force of God, are able to bring into manifestation, feel free, into manifestation the structures and the needs that our loving God has in this world. And in this instance, it was to provide for the most vulnerable children. In this instance, it was to build a village and a sanctuary, and now a second village that we are building, which is some 9 hours drive from this location. For me, you have to understand, everything you are seeing here, everything, this bustling community, 215 employees, hundreds of special needs children, over 200 children in our care. Some of those children are street involved children who were involved in street gangs, drugs, crime, etc. They're not here, they're at another location. The country's largest dog rescue shelter, which I'm not going to show you because it's a 2-kilometer walk away, but I could at least, Aries, I could at least let you meet one of the puppies that I rescued many years ago, Mr. Aries here. All started by following 1111. This channel and what I share, everything I share is about the living God, Christ. It's about connecting with the living God so that it can take you and use your hands and feet to build at its behest what it needs in this world. We can look around and we can see problems with our human mind. We can look around and we can see that there are issues that need to be addressed. We can see that there is poverty. We can see that there are children suffering. We can see that there are children that are sick. We can see that there is war and conflict. But your mind doesn't necessarily know the solution. It doesn't know how to fix it. And so you can study, which is important for some, and you can pursue the route of educating yourself and getting all of the right knowledge so that you can maneuver your intelligence off the back of your own thoughts and memory to try and make some changes. Or, in the instance of this, you can walk in faith. And by walking in faith, you can create without all of that. By simply returning to a space in consciousness of presence, loving awareness, staying in the present moment, and awaiting the instruction, the divine revelation of Christ. Hamjambo. Poleni. Chukua video leo, sawa? Aye, okay. And so when you do that, I had no idea when I followed 1111 to Tanzania. I had no idea whatsoever why I was following it. I had no idea whatsoever why it was bringing me here. I didn't know what the plan was. I just boarded the plane with some inclination because I'd seen a video of children who were suffering on the internet, and I had said, Mambo kaka, ukopoa. And I had said that, hey Dorcas, hey sweetie, hey. I had said someone should do something about that. Mambo. Ukopoa. Umefurahi? Yeah. Unaona? I saw a YouTube video and said someone should do something about that. And I heard audible voice say, you are someone. And so I decided that I would apply. Oh, I can't miss you, Kyan, can I? Hold on one moment. This is Deo Natus. He's always smiling. Hey, Deo. Very handsome today. Hey, mzuri sana leo. Okay, baadaye, okay? Na wewe pia? Aha, okay. Hey. And so, I watched a video on YouTube, and these children were suffering, and I said someone should do something. And at that point in my life, I wasn't a great guy. I'd not really known God. I'd broken the law. I was using drugs, and I didn't really have much thought for helping others, I would say. The concept of self-sacrificial love was completely absent from my knowledge spectrum. Self-sacrificial love is that which is biblical love. That's what the Bible is built on. It's a love that says that others have more value than you and your desires, and you and your pleasures. I saw this video, and I applied to volunteer for that organization. And when I applied to volunteer, it was on the middle of a water fast, which I had started on the 11th of November 2011. And in the middle of that water fast, when I applied, I accidentally applied to a different organization. The one I'd seen was in Uganda, but had the same name as this one in Tanzania, so I hadn't seen the difference when I Googled. And on the 11th day of my fast, at 11:11 a.m., they replied to my email. And I knew it was God. And back then I didn't know what words to point at it with, but I knew it was God. These days I would use the term Christ, but I'm not one to get tangled in that. I'm not one to get lost in words. Words point. I've said this a million times, might as well say it again. If a child sees a tree for the first time, they look at it with awe and wonder. Teach them the word tree, they'll only see the word tree from that day forward. It's good to see the world without language and memory. And so, I told my family that I believed I was being called by God to a foreign land I'd never been. I'd never been to Africa. I'd never left Europe, in fact. And that I felt I should go. And I did. And since coming here, I have been blessed to have been entrusted by our Creator to be the guardian, the provider, the protector and the father of hundreds of children. At the same time, I have been blessed and also struggled, as any human would, to deliver more children than I can actually count at this present moment back into the arms of God. As you can see, many of our children are sick, and this is what they need. They need to be delivered simply back safely, comfortably, and as pain-free as possible back into the arms of God. 1111 it's not a joke. It's not a game. It's a call to service. It's a very important number. It's a building block of the reality of time, space and matter. I've gone through this in other videos. I've gone through it, and I won't mention the negative element of how the enemy manipulates and torments and teases our Creator Christ with this number. But if you times 11 by 11, you get 121, which is 121. 111 by 111, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. It's like that. 1111, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a pyramid number. It's the building block of reality. When it synchronistically shows up in your life, your duty is this: that you must return to surrender. You must, in Christian terms, be crucified so Christ can be born. God's love needs to attain your body, mind, intelligence, hands and feet, and use it to create in this world. And most people are using their mind trying to attain God. And the one trying to attain is the very reason that they have not themselves yet been attained by God. And so I stand here now with the same awareness that I had when 1111 was showing up, and that is that I am loving awareness. I am Christ's loving awareness. I am Christ's loving awareness. I'm not an Englishman called John, and I certainly have a personal history in which there was that label, and I'm from that part of the world. But here now in this moment, where the living God waits for us to move with right compassionate action. Here and now in this moment, where the living God, as Jesus instructed, asks you to take no thought for your life. For look to the birds of the air, they neither sow nor reap, and let your heavenly Father provide. That if you stay here and be loving awareness, not that John, not that an image is lovingly aware, but allow the vessel to relax and be loving awareness. From there, the language of synchronicity will open up. From there, things like 1111 will begin to appear and will lead and guide your life. And it will take you into miraculous places that you didn't believe were possible, that you didn't believe could even happen. For instance, building a village for some of the most vulnerable children in the world. For instance, building what will be the biggest village of its kind right now. For instance, opening a dog rescue. And beyond all of that, the blessing of being able to hold and nurture and protect hundreds of children that belong to God, and knowing that He trusted because He saw something in you. That's why He's calling you with various means. It might not be 1111 in your life, it may be something else. But for me and others, it was 1111. And is calling you to protect the needy, to care for the sick, to be his hands and his feet in this world. That's what it is. And everything on my channel I teach is trying my level best with my linear language system to take you to a place which is non-linear, a place where it's timeless, a place here and now, in this present moment, where the living God can animate your intelligence and fill your heart with love and compassion to serve. And habari mama? Habari ya Johnny? Okay, I'm Jambo. And to serve some of the most needy. I'm Jambo. Poleni kazi. Some of the most sick and the most vulnerable children that there are. John in here is critical at the moment, and I know thousands of you saw the Instagram post and have been praying for him, and he's improving. You cannot be guided by the Christ. You cannot be led by God unless you are willing to abandon everything that you ever thought you were, and here and now in this moment allow it as a force of creation to take over your intelligence. And your mind will interfere, but synchronicities like 1111 will allow you to follow, will allow you to be guided in those times where your mind is a little bit too loud. If God is calling you, take assurance from this man who was once merely a drug addict, a liar, a cheat, a deceiver, a crook. Take it from this one. For I have been all things unholy. If God can work through me, he can work through anyone. In 2010, 14 years ago, I was still that character. He was fading, but he was still there. Take it from me, no matter how deep you've gone, God can reach you. And no matter what you've done with your life, some of the tools you've learned in the darkness of the bondage of Satan can be used against him in the light of God. But you must make sure that your intelligence is animated by the light of God, by the Christ. And I'll conclude with a simple prayer that all of the invisible children, the children that are locked in the dark, tied up, chained up, the countless millions of special needs children that God has brought me here to build villages for, to find, to rescue, that tonight they have comfort, that angels visit them and let them know humanity's coming. We're looking for you, and we're going to find you. And we don't know how long it's going to take until we get to you. But with everything we've got, we're looking, and we're fighting, and we're going to find you. And your life will be a dream come true compared to the suffering that you have been enduring and are enduring. That's my simple prayer on this beautiful day, 11/11. A day in which we also launch a new project to promise we will protect them. It's also we will find them. Those invisible little ones that as I speak now are waiting for either rescue or death. And may God grant them comfort, grant us strength, and send the right people out there to help us, because to know they're there now, right now, as I speak. They need an army. There should be an army on the ground here looking for them. And maybe we've got one in this community to some degree. So a blessed 11/11, a sacred day. And if you're seeing it, trust me, it's of the Christ. Don't let any man or fear-filled preacher tell you otherwise. My life is the evidence. Faith without works is dead, and you will know them by my fruit, by their fruits, and my fruits are very clear. My fruits are as they should be, a reflection of the love that Jesus showed us, or Christ showed us, or many other apostles, saints and missionaries have shown us, of all faiths and religions, I might add. God bless, guys.
How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed.